Cinema is a generational art which very few prevail in, but this extraordinary route is being pursued, and quite well, by local amateur director Micah Streeter. In speaking with Streeter, he told us that filmmaking is the only career he has ever considered.
From when I was a little kid, that was the only thing I ever wanted to do. That was the only job I ever wanted to have. It was never anything else. So at a certain point I realized that there was nothing stopping me from making movies. That was about age 13. And I started writing screenplays and making little films on my iPad.
We asked Streeter about his current film, Night, which is scheduled to release later this year. He told us the origins and initial idea.
A lot of different ideas came together, and one of them was to make like a horror movie. The other idea that came was what was sort of emotionally on my mind, which was this idea that as humans, when we don't communicate with each other and when we stay silent about really important things emotionally, it's really destructive towards any relationship.
Streeter went on to talk about how important collaboration is in the filmmaking process.
At a certain point, if it's just your ideas, and it's just what's inside me as a director, the film's going to be really boring. That's where the collaborators come in. The actors who went through a lot of hardship on this film, and but they brought their personalities to it. Many of the actors I wrote the parts for.
We spoke to one of these collaborators, Junior Michael Diaz, about Streeter's filmmaking and what it's like to work on one of his films.
I think it's really, really cool that he's trying to do something that seems so kind of large and out of this world for somebody from small town Kansas. I think it's really great, and I think he's pretty talented and he's got a future. Anytime you try to take a process like that and put it into action, it's really hard. There was a lot of rough nights of really grinding, trying to get this thing done, but overall I'm really glad that I got to experience it, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Diaz's comments were further emphasized by those of Devin McMahons, a junior at Rose Hill High that also worked on Streeter's films.
It's amazing, kind of like having dreams like that, just kind of like coming out of a small little town. And he's a great guy, and he works hard, and you can tell that he really wants to do this dream. So I spend a lot of my time just I sacrificed a lot of my time just so that way he can achieve his dream.
In addition to Night, Streeter has been involved in the development of several short films, such as Winterbottom, Frank, and Fidget Spinner.
I started out with iPad short films, when those were kind of fun things that you showed to the family, and those were little. And then I made a film with a friend of mine called Frank for this film race, the Down to the Wire film race, which was more serious. And then I started making Night, but then the next year at the film race I made a film called Fidget Spinner, and that was a crew of over 20 people, and we were using a 22-pound camera and a studio, making music by ourselves, blah blah blah, and that was that would have been a dream the year before. And a few years before Night, it would have been a dream to make something that's going to be this complete. So I think I'll make Night, and then the next thing that comes out will hopefully be more a step forward rather than a step back.
Dakota Morgan, Channel 7 News.